Morning, everybody. How are we? Yes, so this morning's talk, I said, again, we don't do sales pitches, so I definitely couldn't because of what I do for a living. For a living in microgridding is a very complicated technical thing, and you guys would be bored to absolute tears doing it. So when I was asked to do this, I said, look, something for the business community, something that people can get some value out of, and I wanted to talk about my experience going through the world and the value of actually networking with people and growing your network and how that can help you as you start out at whatever stage you are in your business journey. If you're a serial networker, there's still something in here as a wee reminder for you. If you're just starting out into the business world, then there's going to be things here that you can glean and some of the experiences that I've taken. But before we start, who is this weirdo talking, right? So I'm very self-deprecating just before we get started too far. So currently I'm the sales director at Louis Microgrid, which is decentralized power distribution, and boring for anybody who doesn't know what that is. My history is in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data infrastructure, telecom infrastructure, and before that, financial sales through the cars, and I started off in retail. I actually also have a semi-decent music career. Launched a new album last week, and I can actually cook. So there's some things you didn't know about me. So looking at this picture, this is the thing I want to get to, is how you actually grow your business through networking. So what you have here, you've got a room of everybody. I'm talking plumbers, I'm talking doctors, I'm talking crystal healing, I'm talking hypnosis, I'm talking accountants, all that. What is the one thing every single person in your life or around your life has in common? Anybody? Every single person there has access to a network that you do not have access to. Every single person that you come across, be it your wife, your parents, your kids, people you work with, you all have circles of influence that are not your own, okay? And tapping into those is key to growing your business, relational networking, and getting into the room with the people that will ultimately benefit your business. So I've broken it down into 4 rings. I didn't actually have time when I was doing the slides to actually put titles towards those. So there's 4 rings. You've got you in the middle, and then here, you have the people that you live with. These are your friends, these are your family, these are your partners, these are your kids, these are your parents, right? Outside of that, you have people that actually work in the exact same industry as you. So say you sell, I'm picking on you, Tram, because you sat near the front, right? But so Tram does hypnosis therapy. I guarantee you do a lot of work with other hypnosis therapists, right? And we're going to come back to why that's important. In here, in the 3rd ring, what you have is people who work in adjacent industries, people who work supplementary to what you do. So for me, a lot of the people who are supplementary for me are PV installers, people who do wind architecture, battery storage. These are people who don't do directly what I do, but they are people that I'm always involved with whenever I'm doing my work. And then you have ring 4, which is everybody else, right? Plumbers for me. I have no use for a plumber in my day-to-day job, but I do have use for a plumber. And the reason that these people are important is because at every single ring, there is value to be gleaned out of them. There's always something that you can take, but what you have to do when you're networking with people is flip it on its head. For anybody who's been involved in any of the more borderline religious networking organisations that exist in Northern Ireland, where everything is a little bit culty and you've got to kind of do the thing, and anyone in the room knows exactly which one I'm talking about, right? But within that, networking is there's a lot to be gained out of those organisations in terms of lessons, but firmly in 2024, as we look at networking as a business and how it grows your business, there is a lot more to be taken out by doing things kind of reverse. So this is my golden rule. If you're at any stage of business, so if you're starting out, if you're well established, or anything in between, the golden rule that I have always worked to is everything in life is worth a coffee, right? Because even if it's not worth the meeting, you've got a coffee out of it, right? Which is no bad thing, right? Particularly if you're as highly caffeinated as I am. The reason I say that is that in a group environment, even today, you're going to start some conversations, you're going to meet some interesting people, you're going to be able to plant the seeds of what you're trying to do with your business and what you're trying to do with your career. However, it's one-on-one that this stuff starts to really work. When you meet with someone one-on-one, you will get so much information. You will be able to give so much information, and that is where you start to build your relationship. Is where you start to build your network. And then in time, this is how you will eventually grow. I've got a couple of very good examples even actually this week of how this has helped me. So, well, actually, I'll do one of the examples in particular. So I'm seeing Kathy here as well. So we go to a regular walk. It's at Stormont. It's the last Friday of every month, and we go for a walk, and we just meet people, and we talk, and we see how the world is. Very rarely do I actually talk about what I'm doing in my job, just finding out how people are. There's a woman there who does divorce counselling. Now, don't worry, I'm not getting divorced. This is not my personal therapy session. But 6 months ago, I met that woman. I was like, yeah, okay, that's interesting. I don't know anybody who does that. A friend of mine's brother is about to start through one of the most horrific divorces I think I have ever heard a tale of, right? And instantly, I went, shit, I know someone who does that. I literally know someone who can help you. So I spoke to him. I said, look, would this be a benefit to you? And he went, actually, you know what? It really would. I'm going through it. So straight away, I've been able to help a friend with what he's going through. At the same time, I've been able to pass business to somebody else. I'm getting nothing out of it except a friend not shouting at me and drinking heavily, which is a win-win for everybody. But this is the point I'm trying to make. Whenever you meet someone, they have value, but you've got to give the value. A lot people go into networking, people go into these events, they go to meet the buyers, they go to all these things, and the natural instinct I think most people bring into that is, what can I get out of that? And that's the wrong way to think about networking. Networking should be 100% every single day, what can I give into the group? Because naturally it comes back. Now, I'm not going to start doing the power of positive thinking and, if you give, the universe will provide it. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, when you give value to someone, they instantly want to give it back to you. And that's where real relationships are formed. So in the company I work in, there's a good example of this. We have a director who does all our compliance, all our ISOs, all these sort of things, right? Now, I went to school with this guy. And we lost touch for years. But then in my time in telecoms, I actually ended up being able to pass a huge amount of business to this man, because people I were working with were looking at ISO compliance, they were looking at B Corp, they were looking at all these different things. And that was what he did. So I was consistently meeting clients and just going, oh, you're doing that? Speak to Andrew. He's your guy. He'll fix you, right? And so Andrew was taking me out for lunch, very nice lunches for about 3 years. Because I was giving him I was literally bankrolling his company for about 3 years, right? And then whenever it came to the push, we were setting up the company that I work in now, and we needed somebody to handle compliance. Then instantly I picked up the phone to Andrew and said, look, I need you in for 6 months. Ideally, I'd like you to come on full time. And he said, look, the 6 months are free, Stuart. Literally for free. Now, we're trying to bankroll a startup business, right? So that's very difficult. And suddenly I've got a fully qualified ISO director giving me 6 months of his time for free. That's a huge deal. And it's only because I gave to him without any expectation of return. And then 5 years, 6 years later, that has come back and paid me dividends, right? I'm not saying that's why you should go into these things. I'm saying that's just naturally how the human condition works. So, whenever you meet someone, you're going to meet someone today, arrange a coffee with them. Find out, are they interesting people? Like, what do they do? What interests them? What do they do in work? What do they do outside of work? What are they scared of? Like, any of these things, build that relationship. But these are the golden rules to actually doing that. And I hate, like, show of hands, who has kids here? Right. Okay, so you'll appreciate this. When you are growing up and your parents say things to you, and they'll be like, schools are the best days of your life. And you're like, aye, jog on. And then you will pick up these bits and you will fight it and you will fight it and you will fight it. And then suddenly one day you start saying it yourself, right? And you go, ugh. Right? So this is the thing. I had a horrific boss years ago who said that to me. But it's actually a very, very good bit of advice, because even out of a horrific boss, there can be some good advice. So you have 2 ears, you have one mouth, use them proportionately. Which means when you meet anybody in business, when you're networking, when you're trying to grow your business, listen twice as much as you talk. Ask the questions and listen to the answer. So many people that I meet ask me a question and they only want me to answer it so they can talk back. And that is an incredibly, for a lot of people it's very obvious, but at the same time be really engaged in the answers you're listening to. Right? This is what you do with your friends, right? This is what you do with your family. You've now got to bring this personal way of doing business into your business world. And I guarantee you, it works so much better if you're actually engaged and ask the follow-up questions. Psychologically, we start connecting with people a lot better whenever we do that. We start, because they go, oh shit, no, this guy's actually listening to what I have to say, and he's asking a proper question following up on that. And that's what I'm saying, is that you never ask a question so you can then jump in and explain something that you do. Take a genuine care. And again, back to our circles, regardless of if that person does what you do, doesn't do what you do, does nothing even close to what you do, because you will always find a way that you will connect. One-on-one, everybody in this room has something in common with everybody else in this room that could benefit you going down the line. Might be 6 months, might be 5 years, you don't know. But back to the golden rule, at least you're getting coffee out of it, which is always good. So be present, be engaged. And what I mean by that is put your phone in your pocket, right? It's 2024, we live on these damn things. But when you arrive to coffee, turn it off. And I would say turn it on vibrate, turn it off. Keep it away, keep it in your bag. Be present for the 45 minutes to an hour that you have with a person, because their time is valuable. And if you have all of your technology away and you're fully focused on a person, they will feel the value that you're bringing into that conversation. Okay? So that's one of the things that, like, as a man who was born in 1986, I have this... We were in this weird generation where I remember the first phones coming out. Like, I had a BT Cellnet one, you know, this absolutely 56 characters of text, right? So phones weren't a thing for me when I was getting into business. The first iPhone came out, I was already on my second job, right? Now, the first iPhone was borderline useless, right? But, so I'm actually the kind of last generation that remembers actually doing business just for the sake of doing it. And not having technology invade us at all the different times. But I understand how pervasive it is. God knows I work in a lot of heavy tech, and it's very easy to get distracted by these things. It is literally geared to do it. But what I would say is, whenever you are meeting people, today, tomorrow, going forward, turn it off. Don't even have the vibration, because if you look down at that phone while somebody's talking to you, while it's vibrating on a table, instantly they feel devalued. They don't do it consciously. They're not going, hate these people. But in the back of their head, there's something that is just, they weren't really listening. They were too busy looking at their phone. And we pick up on it. Humans pick up on it, not consciously, but you do it. And then finally, which we've talked about, is give without any expectation of return. That's the example I have of my ISO director now in my business. It is the example of the divorce counsellor that I'm putting through. And there's plenty more. I could ream off 20 of these that I can do. And they're always, Kathy, actually, last week before, I was asking you an HR question. And I just texted Kathy out of the blue. I was like, here's a question. Can I do this? And she was like, nah. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, don't get me wrong. I wasn't like, can I bring a stick to work and have some fun? No, it wasn't that question. But Kathy, very graciously, when she had time, took it. It was 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and we went through it. And, and this is the thing. So whenever I've now name-checked you on the main stage, if you need HR stuff, go to Kathy. Right. This is how it works, guys. It's about just building these good relationships that you feel confident to reach out to people, and you see people who actually have a need, and you can service that need because you have got 200 people in your phone book who do different weird things. And when you do different weird things, all the people in your life have different and weird problems, and you can be the person that helps fill those problems, which tightens your relationships, it tightens your business relationships, everything starts to work better, and then people naturally want to return to you as well. Clicker. Yeah. So then, and this is the other thing. So once you're done, you've built a relationship, you've got a friendship, you've got a business contact, you've got all these things working for you. How do you keep that going? Because a one and done coffee doesn't work. You know what I mean? Well, it does. I mean, you don't see each other very often. But keeping it going in the long term is where you really start to see benefit. And what I would say, What the hell was I thinking with what you think about you see? Oh yeah, no, I actually do know. So most of the presentations I give are very technical on power distribution. So I was asked to give one about networking potential, and I was like, sure, I'm used to doing these talks. So what I think is this: is the more engaged you are with somebody, the more you will see opportunity to help them. So again, divorce counselor. I see her once a month, so she's in the front of my mind. You know what I mean? Subconsciously, I know what she does. I've met her, I've seen her, I know what she does. So when the opportunity in my day-to-day life or my business life comes up, so what I'm saying is take some time, remember who these people are, and once in a while, check in with them. And it's the small things as well, the small engagements that we do. So everybody here probably tries to grow their business a little bit through LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all these various bits and pieces, right? See, when you meet someone, every day for the next week, every time they post, engage with it, right? That's a tiny thing. We all know the fucking Instagram gods aren't going to make someone a millionaire on the back of your engagement, but it means something to the person. You're giving that engagement to them, you're validating their people, and you're helping them ever so slightly. And that's a huge thing. Once that grows up over time, you start to become known as Martin Gilchrist, who's floating about. Anybody who knows Martin is a savage at this. He engages with everything. Everybody knows Martin. Martin engages with your stuff. He does accountancy work, right? And he is so good at being honestly there for people that he knows and engaging with their content. It might not move the needle massively, but it does move the needle for the person who's getting it moved. And so support them in any way that you can. If you see an event and you can go to it, go to it. Bring a friend. Tell someone about it. We all grow together. I love this saying that rising tides raise all ships, right? So basically, if we all do well, we all do well. But if we all live as islands, we'll do very, very badly. This is what I say about, when I talk about getting to know your direct competitors. So in my AI machine learning days, I was working within carbon reduction strategy. I was doing the sustainability piece. We had a team of people who installed solar panels, right? A lot of physical work on the roofs. Quite often, our guys were maxed out, right? They were completely up to their eyes. We had jobs for the next 3 months. Our competitor maybe didn't have that, right? So they've got engineers sitting on their ass doing nothing, drawing a wage down. So we were on good speaking terms with all our direct competitors. So we'd phone around and say, do you have any availability on your staff? Because then they'd contract them to us. Now, they contract them at a contracting rate, which is much more than what the day rate is. But it meant that they were getting their staff paid, we were getting our jobs done, and then 6 months later, it could be the other way around. They could be up to their eyes, and they'd phone us and say, here, you don't have a couple of engineers, you can spare us for a week. There's no harm in doing that. Getting to know everybody in your ecosystem, be they competitors, non-competitors, the rest of it. And then this one. Does anyone know what that means? There we go. That is the thing, right? So again, another acronym I picked up from bosses over the years. Do what you say you will do. Sincerity is 1000% of this game. If you say you're going to meet someone, meet them. Unless, look, the world happens occasionally, If you say to someone, I know a person who can help you, let me make that phone call, you better make that phone call, right? It might not go well, but at least you can follow up. Be sincere in every single business interaction that you have. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If it doesn't work out, make sure that your communication is open and honest with the people that you're working with, and you will do so bloody well. This is not the hardest thing in the world, but what I'm trying to say is as a business community, and as the traditional networking world will tell you, networking is about going in and taking from the community. It's not. If every single person here, every single business owner, every single employee, if every single staff went with a giving mindset, we would actually rise so much quicker, and we would all be able to network better. Our businesses would grow. We would actually feel a little bit better about how things are going, and we would all rise together. The tide rises absolutely every single one of us. So my conclusion, look at the way that rendered. I swear to God, I didn't type it with an enter in the middle of that. I don't know what has happened there. So, in conclusion, every single connection here that you know, your family, your friends, your competitors, your colleagues, your adjacent people, your your gardener. Like, Jesus, it doesn't matter. Every single person has value to your business. It has, well, not even just to you as a business, but to you as a person. Everything is worth a coffee. Give a lot more than you take. Listen a lot more than you talk. Ironic for a guy who's just talked for 25 minutes. But be sincere in everything you do. Support the people that you work with and do what you say you will do. That's it. Those are the golden rules, guys. And over that, because here's the thing. My job as a sales director, I'm going to let you in on a secret. I'm a really shit salesman. I'm a really terrible direct salesman. I always have been. I've got 20 years career in sales. I'm no good at it. What I am good at is working with people. And then work comes to me, because I'll tell you this, you see, when you build your business community and people trust you because you're sincere and they know that you're good at what you do, the easiest thing in the world, whenever you try to sell something, you have a couple of options. You can LinkedIn DM them. Nobody loves that. I instantly block anybody who does that to me. Connect. Oh, here's my sales pitch. Kindly go away. That's my polite way of saying it. I can pick up the phone and I can annoy you and I can try and get the person. I can try and badger a meeting. I can do all those things. And it has worked for me in the past. It's taken sometimes a month, 2 months, 3 months. But what I can do on the back of that is Kathy down there can find a problem that I can fix. And Kathy can say, because she's got the trust with someone, say, I actually know the guy who can fix that for you. I know exactly who that is. So I'm going to get Stuart to give you a call. And then Kathy says to me, Stuart, phone such and such. They're taking that call. They're taking that first meeting. That will save me so much time and effort getting into rooms that I want to get into if somebody I know who's already on the inside warms it up for me and says, I know a good guy to do this job. And so that's it. So when you grow a good, strong professional network who trusts you and you have helped them, they will put you into rooms that you would spend 6 months battering down doors for, picking up the phone for, all those things. The people in your life are your best asset in growing your network. So use it, guys. So I have precisely 2 minutes, 35 seconds left. So no, 10 minutes good. No, that's it. See, I was good. I actually just ran it hard. But look, so guys, look, that is it. That is my random ramblings for a Friday morning. If you have any questions, or if you want to connect with me and weirdly go for a coffee, scan the QR code. You'll get me on LinkedIn. But does anybody have any weird and wonderful questions to ask? Excellent. I covered my bases. Marty.
I'll be the guy.
Yeah.
Right. So, sorry, Ron. Thank you. So I've been running businesses for 25 years.
Yes.
Right. And last night I walked into the Growth Network meeting, and one of the speakers, I have no idea. Is that birds going?
It's someone's phone.
All right. Is that Dee's phone? Doing bird noises. Brilliant. Last night I walked into the Growth Network networking event. I have absolutely no idea how to do networking after 25 years, right? So talk to the 25-year-ago me and tell me what I still don't know 25 years later.
Well, the first thing I would say is that, and this is the bit that is the human condition. If you're not good at walking into a room with nobody you know, that's the one bit that takes a little minute of faith, right? Just got to go and speak to someone. Anybody. Doesn't matter. You've no idea what any of the 25 people do, so you might as well pick one of them, right? Because otherwise you're going to sit there for 2.5 hours at the back of the room getting nothing out of it. And that's the mentality I always take into it. It goes, worst case scenario. I always like to visualize the worst case scenario, right? Look at me, the optimist, right? But if I walk into a room and I meet someone at a networking event and we've got nothing to talk about and they bore the life out of me, there's 24 other people in the room, guys, right? So go out and do it. You've got to be out there to do it. It's that sort of, you've got to be in it to win it. So go and meet anybody. Speak to them. Find out what they do. But what I'd also say, Marty, ask them all the questions. Do not interject with your information until you're asked. Because what I'd say is, the more questions you ask that are engaged, the other person starts to feel kind of awkward. Go, shit, I know nothing about these guys. I should ask them some stuff. So get them to ask you. Don't offer this information. Find out about them and take an interest in them, and then they'll start to take an interest in you. It's the basic human condition, is ask a lot more than you answer.
Any other questions, folks? Oh, cool.
Oh, good.
Not mine, would I like yours?
No, now we can have a fight.
No, it's no. I found right which is the strangest thing, and you didn't mention this, and I just wanted to hear what you would think because networking's so broad. But a lot of my connections have come in through my training courses, and I have actually found them to be aligning more with what I'm kind of wanting to achieve because they're in there for the same purpose. So it's more strategic leveled. So I find that like a lot of the real strong contacts or that can make a decision are the ones that I meet in training courses. What do you think about that? I just wanted to hear
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like what I'd say is when we talk about networking, like you said, it's a massively broad concept. Everything's networking, guys. Me giving this talk is networking. One or two of you might even connect with me on LinkedIn. I've got 2 new contacts to make, right? Possibly.
You're really pushing that one.
Oh no, I need more friends. No,
keep going.
But what I'd say is your training courses are networking. The coffees you have with people are networking. The business event that you've come to today, the BarCamp, is a networking. Everything is networking. People talk about always be closing, right? Always be networking, right? Always be building your relationships. Always be building your network strong. But like you said, training courses, you're going to get people who are within the sort of first 2 spheres of that, right? So it's going to be people who are the second and third. So either people who are adjacent to your industry or directly in your industry, right? And that are very, very strong contacts, right? And then the thing that you've probably noticed is that on the back of that, that's when you start doing all the other stuff, right? That's where you start to build the relationship, because you can't do it in a training course. You can't stand up and then find out, oh, come on, Taran, we're just going to talk about things for a while. You can't do it, right? So this is the bit where you're building a bit of value, and then you're going to go and do everything else that we talked about, which is going to be your one-on-one stuff, which is where you really start to get value. And over time, they'll come to another training course or a different training course. And again, bringing value in, but they might bring a colleague or a friend because they go, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like, come on along. It's going to be value to you. And those incremental gains that you get over time you don't do this for a week and then you're done. You're doing this every single day in life, guys. And then over 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, you have a proper network, and you've got your business will flourish on the back of it. And every training course you run will be more subscribed than the last one, until the point you have to put another course on, and then so that would be where I take it. Thank you very much, sir.
You've touched on it a little bit, but I'm wondering if you have any advice for networking with people that are...
People that are, sorry? Oh, sorry, the mic moved just when you said the key word there.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. So people that are maybe more difficult to deal with.
Oh, like me?
No, you seem fairly sensible. But just people that
Jesus, I've done you dirty here then.
But people that are more challenging, maybe you find it more difficult to connect with. Maybe they are sitting on their phone while you're trying to have a conversation with them. So any top tips around dealing with people that are a bit more challenging?
Well, you see, this is where I might give some very bad advice, right? So again, it depends where you are in the relationship with them. Like, I mean, if there's somebody I've known for a while who starts doing it and being like, you could ask them. There's different ways to handle it. Like, I could deal with some stuff pretty head on. I have a variety of neurospicy elements in my life, let's put it that way. So there are things that can hit me pretty hard and I can go off like a bloody rocket, right? But if it's somebody I know semi-well, or second coffee, I know them to see anyway, and they're constantly looking at the phone, I would ask a question. I wouldn't say, here, do us a favor, put that down, show some respect. Like, that's going to start a fight, right? And you're going to lose that network. What I would say is, everything all right? Just ask a question. There's nothing wrong with that. Because you're opening up a conversation. Oh, sorry, problem with the accountant, problem in the order. Right? You can use it as a tool to get in on that. Now, you're not trying to be invasive. You're like, is everything all right? I see that's going great guns. It's not combative. And they might actually tell you a story about what's going on in work. It might be something in their home life. It might be anything. But again, it's another opportunity to say, look, can I help with that? What is that? It goes, no, it's something, bloody suppliers, whatever it is. And you go like, well, look, I actually know a guy who does stock taking. Oh, we're behind on the stock. I know a guy who can help you with that. It's another opportunity. Everything's a conversation. You have highlighted it. So people are maybe feeling slightly uncomfortable about constantly looking. I said, no, look, it's fine. It's absolutely fine that you've got that. you know, and you've got to deal with that. So look, do you want to take 10 minutes? I'll go grab a smoke, whatever, and you can do your thing. So there's different ways to approach that. But at the same time, it's always trying to be there as a point of support. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not that every single person I've ever met in my life I get on with. I can give you phone numbers of people who will tell you I'm the biggest asshole that's ever lived, right? And that's okay. We're not here to get on with absolutely everybody. But what I say is there's always an opportunity to work with people and find out. But something like that with phones, I would just be like, is everything all right? Because that's been going mental for you, hasn't it? And you'll be going, oh Jesus, right? And you'll get a bit of value out of that way. But you've also slightly highlighted here, we're out for coffee. Can you freaking put that away? You know? So, but different people come at these things in different ways, because some people think it's okay to look at their phone the whole time. Other people don't. So you got to judge it, right? But Marty's going to kick me off a stage here. So guys, look, thank you very much for your time and sticking around and being wonderful. And I will, I might see you again. You never know your bad luck. All right, here you go, sir. Thanks.